So hello, my name is Naomi Olivier, and I am the virtual assistant with the Alliance for Massage Therapy Education. And today I have the tremendous pleasure of talking with Diana Lynn Thompson, who is the founder and creator of the Hands Heal electronic health record. And this is something that I am personally really excited about. I know that you've been working on this for quite a long time, and I thought maybe you could just start by telling us a little bit about your electronic health record.
Great. Yes. Well, many years ago, back in 1993, I wrote a book on medical documentation for massage therapy. And as we know, times are changing, and anytime you go into the doctor these days, they're using an electronic health record. So it was time that massage therapists enter the 21st century and do that as well. So I have adapted everything that I have been teaching over the last few decades and turned it into an electronic health record. So I think this is really important for many reasons and makes things easier in many ways that we can talk about. But I want to know what you want to hear first.
Well, actually, I would like to maybe just step back a little bit because I am curious. I mean, it's kind of like, so what? What's the importance of charting? And, I know there are lots of applications out there. There are lots of forms out there. There are lots of options out there. So I'm kind of interested in even the bigger picture of why charting is important.
Yes.
And, why this system is particularly helpful.
Yes, and I think that's one of the biggest issues in massage therapy is we often think charting's not for us, right? We're just doing wellness, massage, and but if we're considering ourselves healthcare providers, and I think that's a really critical thing right now, we're wanting to get into hospitals, we're working with cancer patients, there's a huge pain epidemic that we're trying to address. And finally, after so long, they've been saying no opioids, but they're not giving people options. And it's really just been in the last 6 months even that they're starting to look to alternatives for managing pain. And there's some really good research out there. There's a great meta-analysis and systematic review on massage for pain, and the results are staggering. The CEO of the corporation that created the systematic review, the most recent one that's been published, said if I'd have known that massage therapy was so effective and that people wanted it so much, I would have done nothing but massage research for the last 10 years. So we know that, but massage is not accessible. So in so many places across the country, you can't bill insurance for massage therapy. And so I think that's on the rise. I come from Washington State, where we've been billing insurance since the 80s. And so we've really had the opportunity for working with people in pain and making it accessible to anyone. Anyone who has insurance, any sort of volunteer activity. We've got groups that work with the homeless, but all of these situations really require some level of accountability. The other thing I think is really important about charting is that it gives value to the receiver. So they feel better, they walk away, they feel better, but then they go back to their crazy lives. And so if we can have some documentation that says, you not only feel better, but look, you are better. There's these outcome measures that demonstrate that. And this level of electronic health record makes communication so much easier because that's how doctors are used to talking with other people on the healthcare team. And to be a part of that interdisciplinary team, I think, is really important. It's something that's happening now, and we need to act and fulfill that responsibility of being able to communicate with them. And I think moving to an electronic format is the way to do that.
Yeah. And the way I understand it, your platform is really uniquely suited to be able to do that in a few different ways, right? Because you have the clients or the patients, they can themselves log in. And I mean, could you just address who are the different actors who can tap into this system?
It's a very interactive system in that the patients log in, they fill out their outcome measures. So they've got stress, pain, level of activity, and they can rate how they are in that moment right before they come in for their session. It cuts down on your interview time. It gives you key information that you can do a brief, important, meaningful conversation with before they get on the table to really define your treatment plan for the day. And then you give your treatment, and at the end, they log back in and say how things have changed. So they get measurable data that shows the difference between before and after their session. It automatically gets plotted on a graph that they can log in and see their graph over time. And then they really have this expressive thing that makes them feel like they're spending their money wisely.
Yeah.
They send it to their doctor that makes sure, oh my gosh, this referral is making a difference in my patient's life. And you can communicate that if you are doing third-party reimbursement to an insurance company that says this is meaningful and necessary care. So yes, we'll reimburse for that.
And so, I mean, and that's the thing, my sense of it, and one of the reasons I'm so excited about it is I think that it's, you know, we've made some progress in helping to get some insurance coverage, but there's still a lot of gaps. And even just having these documented outcomes, I think it's going to be huge for helping to push that to a whole nother level.
I believe that wholeheartedly. The other thing that I think is really important is all the physician EHRs, EMRs track data. So you can de-identify patients, clients, you can collect the data, and you can start to see what difference massage makes in people's lives regarding stress, pain, activity of daily living, and you can get it on a huge level. So if you've got thousands of massage therapists charting their clients online, and they have hundreds of clients, dozens of clients, then you've got hundreds of thousands of pieces, points of data that you can put together and start saying some really big things about the difference that massage therapy can make from beginning to end of a session and over time.
I mean, and that's another reason I'm just so thrilled about this. And I mean, obviously there's so many different opportunities for massage therapy to grow as a healthcare profession and service for clients and patients. And part of it is, you know, we have a lot of research. We have a lot of research that is good. I mean, a lot of what research does exist tends to really support what massage therapists already know, that it helps. But there's just not enough systematic data to make those really, really strong claims about how effective or efficacious.
We don't have the big numbers.
Yeah, we don't have the big numbers.
Even our randomized controlled trials are using a couple hundred people instead of a couple thousand people. And imagine if we could use tens of thousands of people. Well,
and I think it gets to another thing that makes me so excited about the system because, you know, obviously we start talking health records and people immediately are like HIPAA and security and patient privacy of data. So this is all, you've thought about this, right?
Absolutely. First of all, I think using an EMR in the classroom. So a good reason for schools to do it is they can teach HIPAA with a real life situation.
I love this.
That's great. And so they're learning the application of it. They're learning the importance of it. They're learning how to log off every time they walk away from their phone, from the system. And but yes, the company that I chose to create the program for me works for the Pentagon, works for banks,
Yeah.
financial consultants.
Yeah.
So the security of the system couldn't be better.
Good.
We, of course, hired a HIPAA attorney
Yeah.
who went over all of our privacy and user agreement statements, and everything is taken care of.
Yeah.
We've included in those permission to use the data de-identified
Yeah.
data
Yeah.
for research, which is very common every time you go to the doctors as well.
Yeah.
So we've thought of everything. I think what's important to remember is on the user end, there's a responsibility there too. So you've got to firewall your computer, password protect it, and make sure that when you walk away from your computer, you're logged out so that your client can't get in there. Just like you don't leave your file drawer open with client files out when you leave the room to let them get undressed.
Well, and clients too, though, and it's interesting is empowerment. There's also responsibility, and that's the thing I find. So I personally, I always think one of the most interesting pieces of research in the past 10 years or so is Karen Boulanger's research on pain and the importance of communication and expectations on outcomes. And her research shows two things. One, that the ability for the therapist to communicate clearly about what should be expected, and then B, the ability for the client to actually get that subjective, like, yes, this is what I expect. Both of these things are having effects on the actual reported levels of pain after a massage therapy session. And so information is power, knowledge is power, expectation, understanding, all of this is power. And I think that, just the ability for the therapist and the client to have this structure and the client to be able to tap into their results, they're gonna, like you said, they're gonna not just feel better, they're gonna know they're better.
Right. And talking about structure, I think it's important that we can simplify things as much as possible. If you've got a blank chart that says SOAP on it, there's no way you're going to remember or be prompted to remember all the information that you should be writing into something. And so to break it down by smaller sections and giving examples in each of these text boxes really prompts someone to learn how to chart better, to not forget key information, to start a conversation. So I think like with those graphs and pain scales, you really want to start the conversation that way to make sure you're acknowledging your client so they feel heard, you're addressing their needs, and you're demonstrating progress. The other part of that is the transparency of allowing the client to log into their own site so that they can see their chart graphed, their progress graphed over time, and they can actually see the charts. Like, it's totally transparent. How many times have we been to the doctor and we would love to know what they're writing in the chart? Well, according to HIPAA, we have the right to see everything that's in our health record.
Oh, interesting.
And so to permit that transparency, to make it easy for the client to see that, I think gives them a lot of confidence and respect in us. And that's something that massage therapists are always struggling with, unfortunately. And so I think that's a key feature as well. Then the client can also download the charts and share them with their doctor if they want to go to their doctor. Maybe they haven't told them they're getting massage, but they could download the chart. It creates a beautiful PDF. So no longer are we having chicken scratch notes that we maybe have to turn into a report, but it takes us forever to do that. You just click the button. You've got a report or your session note beautifully printed. They take that to the doctor and they say, see, this is what my massage therapist does.
Awesome.
Isn't this professional? Doesn't this make a difference? Look at my progress.
I love this.
Over time. Shouldn't you be prescribing massage therapy for my pain?
I love this. I know. I honestly really believe in this. I think that you're This is a tremendous boon for the massage therapy profession.
Thank you.
And it's very exciting. I want to make sure that people who are watching know where they can go. And I think you have something like a free trial or...
Right, there's a 28-day free trial.
Okay.
So you just log on, create an account, and you get to play with it for 28 days. If you decide to actually put in some real clients, test it in your sessions, I think that's the best way to do it. Then you can always, if you choose to cancel, you can always download those files to your hard drive so you don't lose anything. But hopefully you will love it and keep using it. I think always the difficulty in trying something new is spending the time to get used to it.
That learning curve.
Right. And we are so used to writing on paper.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a little bit to transfer it. Once you get used to it, it will be so fast.
Yeah.
You can toggle between wellness charts and treatment charts. So for wellness, you just want to know what you did, where you did it, and why. I always want to include my intent in saying what I did. But if you're doing treatment notes, then it adds subjective complaints, assessments, and a place for you to do your functional goals. So having that ability to do both wellness and treatment, to me, really reinforces that wellness care is a healthcare responsibility, that we can prevent illnesses by charting, by receiving massage therapy, and we should be charting those as well.
So. I love this. And then the website, where can they go? To get the free trial.
So the same title as my book, Hands Heal, EHR.com. So electronic health record, handshealehr.com.
Awesome. Thank you for your time today, Diana.
Oh, you're welcome, and thanks for your support.
Oh.